So, what do you do when one of the country's most famous comedians is publicly making fun of your brand? I mean, most companies would probably send a pretty sternly worded letter. Garnier, though, they decided to turn their biggest critic into their greatest asset. Let's break down exactly how they pulled it off.
That's really the big question here, isn't it? We're going to look at a campaign that didn't just win over a critic, it won one of advertising's most famous awards, by proving that sometimes the best defense is a great and absolutely hilarious offense.
All right, so just how successful are we talking about? Well, this campaign took home a bronze lion at the Cannes Lions Festival of Creativity. For anyone who doesn't know, that's basically the Oscars of the advertising world. So yeah, right away, that tells you this was something really special.
The campaign itself was called Bassi versus Garnier Men Facewash, and it was cooked up by the agency BBH India. But look at the award category here, because this is the important part. Social and influencer lions, use of humor. This wasn't some big flashy TV ad. No, this was built from the ground up to live on social media, driven entirely by a creator and a really clever sense of humor.
The core idea was, honestly, both incredibly simple and super gutsy. Garnier decided to take their loudest opponent and, instead of trying to shut him up, they basically challenged him to become their biggest fan.
Now, to really get why this was so bold, you have to understand the two massive challenges Garnier was up against. It wasn't just about one guy making jokes. It was about an entire market full of skeptics.
First off, you've got the business problem. In a gigantic market like India, only 4.1% of men were even using any kind of face wash. The other, 96%, they just didn't see the point. And then, their other problem had a name, Anubhav Singh Bassi. He's one of India's most popular comedians, and he was publicly roasting the entire idea of men's grooming, calling out Garnier by name, and even making fun of their celebrity brand ambassador, the movie star John Abraham.
So you've got this tiny market share and a huge, very public critic. What's the play? Most brands might send a legal notice or maybe just try to ignore him and hope he goes away. But Garnier's agency, BBH India, they did something way smarter.
They didn't fight him. They didn't ignore him. They made him the absolute centerpiece of the entire campaign. The whole strategy was built on one simple, confident belief, that their product was actually good enough to win him over. All they had to do was get him to try it.
So how in the world do you get him to try it? Well, they launched this all-out public campaign, and they playfully framed it as a social media war. Bassi versus Men's Facewash. And this wasn't just a few tweets, This was a full-scale public pressure campaign. It all started when a comedian friend of his called him out online. That sparked a social media storm of memes and jokes. Then it jumped into the real world. People started showing up at his stand-up shows with Garnier signs. Somebody even followed him with a billboard. And Bassi, playing along, resisted online, which just fueled the fire and made the whole thing go even more viral.
Okay, but a showdown like this needs a killer ending, right? With all of this public buildup, the payoff had to be perfect. And here it is. This is the masterstroke. Garnier sent in the one person Bassi absolutely could not ignore. Their brand ambassador, John Abraham. The very guy he had been making fun of in his comedy routine.
This one moment just captures the campaign's perfect mix of humor and pure confidence. On camera, John Abraham basically tells Bassi, "All right, let's wash you up." And then he literally washes his face with the product. It's this hilarious, symbolic moment where the joke becomes a real, undeniable product trial. And that single moment was the turning point. Bassi is completely transformed from a skeptic into a believer. He actually admits right on camera, "You were right. Men's face wash is great." He went from being the poster boy for the 96% of non-users to becoming the ultimate face of conversion.
Okay, so it was a fantastic stunt, a great bit of entertainment. But did it actually work? Well, the results show just how powerful this strategy really was.
The impact on public interest was just staggering. The campaign drove a 5,000% spike in Google searches for both a key product term and for the entire brand category. People weren't just watching, they were actively going online to look for the product.
And that interest wasn't just coming from regular people. The campaign started by targeting one guy, but it created this massive ripple effect.
Over 100 other creators jumped into the conversation, all on their own, organically, amplifying the message across social media. And here it is, the ultimate proof of success, the one metric every single brand dreams of. The products completely sold out on India's top 3 online shopping sites. They literally went from skepticism to sold out.
So what are the big takeaways here? Well, for one, it shows that humor can be the perfect weapon to challenge a cultural norm. It also shows that leaning into your criticism instead of running from it can lead to the most authentic endorsement imaginable. And finally, it proves that a brave, simple social media idea can create massive commercial success. It really leaves us with a final thought. This campaign used humor to brilliantly take down a stereotype about men's grooming. And it kind of makes you wonder, right? What's the next outdated idea that's just waiting for a smart, funny campaign to come along and challenge it?